What do you do when you go to the beach? Do you ever read a book? Well, I'm going to the beach and I'm going to read a book. In fact, I'm going to read a book to you. I wrote this book. Hi, Donna. And I know I've got some new people watching since I've been traveling all over the Northeast. I've made a bunch of new friends. And one of those new friends is a beautiful lady named Trey. Hi, Shelley. And Trey said that she would really like to hear me read my book at the beach. She was imagining how wonderful it would sound to hear the waves and me reading. Hi, Susan. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I literally just got to the west coast of Florida and I decided to go to the best beach in the world. Siesta Key Beach is a world-class beach with world-class sand. It's a barrier island, one of the most beautiful areas I've ever seen. Let's turn the camera around so you can see. Hi, Reggie. Exactly, Susan. It is story time. And I just drove here through some really terrible storms and crisscrossed my way with the storms. And it looks like it might storm over there. But I think we're gonna get a really beautiful sunset out of it. The sunset has just begun making its way until it dips into the ocean and disappears in a blaze of orange, red, golden hues. Hi, Sherry. Yay, everyone's on now. This was a great time to go live. Oh, Donna got the storm. Well, that was some storm. And I had a bit of an issue. I had to drive through a very floody area. And I did make it through the flood, but my car started screaming after that. I drive a hybrid, so I get a little bit worried about excess water, but does anybody drive a hybrid? Did you ever hear your car scream after you drove through a lot of water? That was scary. Look how beautiful it is. This is one of my favorite beaches. One of the things I love the most about Siesta Key is all of the different sandbar situation. I mean, I'm on the beach and I am on a sandbar. That's kind of wild, isn't it? And that's a pretty deep little river right there. No, it wasn't the steering, Donna. It sounded weird in the back. I don't know. It made sounded like metal grinding on metal. It was kind of horrible. I don't know. I just prayed a lot and asked Jesus to fix it. You know, he's a mechanic, don't you know? Hi, Tosh. We're getting ready for a glorious sunset. And as the sun starts to go down, before it actually goes down, I'm going to read to you. I just have to pick a good spot. So we're gonna walk a little bit along the beach, flying with the pelicans. It didn't seem like it was the brakes, Donna. It would just start screaming like for no reason. Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's beach report. It's going to be one of my good old story time beach reports with me reading from my new book that I am going to be revamping the cover, but the inside will stay the same. I have a book signing at the end of August. So I got a chop suey on this one. And in order to get in the mood, I'm gonna read it to you. Just the first few chapters. Just to wet your whistle. Yeah, I have to go to the dealership, Donna. The car says it needs maintenance anyway, like oil change or something, so I had to duct tape my door hatch. Oh, good Lord, Reggie. All right, well, we're looking right now for my favorite spot to read a book. Right now, we're taking a walk on the beach, but some people are riding bikes on the beach. This is what sets apart Siesta Key Beach from most every other beach in the world. The reason you can ride bikes on the beach is because the sand is so fine that when it's wet and near the shore, it's super hard and easy to ride a bike on. Yes, it's absolutely beautiful. I do have to say, though, it is a little bit stinky today. It smells very beachy today, a little too beachy. And it's interesting to see how beach erosion is doing its thing here, too. It doesn't always look like this. Could be because there was a really big storm that just went through here. Sewage water? Oh, Bubba. Bubba's a troll. That's how you know it's a troll. To call the most beautiful area in the world sewage water. Where do you live, Bubba? Underground? In a hole? It doesn't get more beautiful than this. This is Siesta Key Beach. One of the most beautiful barrier islands off of the Florida's Gulf of America. All right, well, I'm sorry for you, Bubba. Don't be a troll. Do something better with your life. Right now we're taking a walk on the beach, but soon we will be reading on the beach. Can you even with this sunset? And so many people are in the water. Despite tales of a flesh-eating bacteria. So one of the reasons that I love this area, thank you, Wayne, so much is because this part is called Patriot Point. And you can see why. It's the most patriotic beach in Siesta Key. Those of you who have been watching my show for the past 10 years know what happens here at Patriot Point. when the sun goes down. And those of you who are new are about to find out. But before that happens, we're going to read a book. Well, I'm going to read. And y'all are going to listen. Listen to the sound of the waves. Can you hear the waves? I wanted to be able to hold the book. Well, I know, right? What a beautiful sunset. Okay, get comfortable. Lay down here at the beach. Lay on the sand. Whoops, sorry. Jill's gonna read you. Whoops. I'm gonna read you the author's introduction to my new book, Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? A mind-blowing adoption story. So, get ready. Give me a sound check. Can you hear me okay? I need a sound check before I can start. Check one, check one. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, thank you, Sherry. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks, Susan. All right, y'all ready? You guys have a nice glass of wine or some hot tea or something cold. All right, Reggie's ready. Okay, great. I'm gonna start now. Oh, I get so nervous. All right, author's introduction. November 30th, 1965 is the anniversary of more than just my birth. It's also the anniversary of the day I lost my mother. From the moment I exited her womb, we went our separate ways. Mothers lose babies and babies lose mothers sometimes, but when it happens to you, it's an alienating experience. Lost mothers and lost babies may go on to find other families, but they never forget each other, living or dead. I immediately tried to get over the loss of my mother on the day I was born. Put into a foster home for the first 2 weeks of my life, I was cared for and fed without love. Yeah, where's Darla? Good question, Donna. So I put on a happy face and did what I could to charm all the adults around me into loving me enough to keep me alive. For those 2 weeks, I had nothing. No mother, no father. Even the onesies I was wearing had to be returned. If my birth certificate is accurate, despite much of it being falsified for adoption purposes, then the last time I felt the warmth of my mother's body was at 4:05 a.m. on that fateful Tuesday morning. That date and that time have always held immense significance for me. My adoptive mom used to tease me about the way I acted before my birthday, saying, "It's like you think it's a national holiday or something." But I could never explain to her that it was the one day in the year that my biological mother couldn't forget about me, because on that day, more than any other, I was thinking about her too. The fact that she existed somewhere out there in the world fascinated me. I wondered if she looked like me, if she thought about me much, and if she had any regrets about giving me up for adoption. It was difficult for me to understand the standard explanation I was given. She loved you so much that she gave you up. She wanted you to have a better life. It never made sense. The mommy I had now loved me too, and she wouldn't give me up for anything in the world. So excuse me for being confused. I was told that adoption wasn't personal. I gotta turn the page. That the people who gave me up for adoption, sorry guys, sorry camera work, gave me up for adoption did so without knowledge of who I was or what I would mean to them in the future. I started to think of the womb as merely a portal, a construction zone of sorts, in which recycled souls received their earth suits before re-entering the world. I believe that God blessed my earth suit with the soul of a wandering Jew, a scribe destined to live an interesting life during interesting times. I eventually learned that my biological father was Jewish, but my biological mother was Christian. I was told that despite this, she deliberately chose to give me to agents of the Jewish God. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, King of the universe. I was chosen to embrace God as my salvation, and Jesus was my friend. In 1965, Jewish girls who married Jewish doctors were considered fortunate, and illegitimate babies with Jewish blood hit the jackpot when given to such a couple. The Jewish Family and Children's Agency arranged my adoption, intending to guarantee me with a lifetime of love and security. In the months prior to my birth, the adoption agents scrutinized my biological parents and reviewed prospective adoptive parents until they found the best match for me, and it was personal. Days after my birth, and clearly without my consent, they converted me to Orthodox Judaism in a private immersion ceremony. It's like a baptism. And it was personal. The only ones without a personal choice in my future as myself were my adoptive parents. They often told me, "We chose you." But the truth is, they would have taken any baby the agency handed to them on that day, without question. From the moment I was conceived, God and Jesus had unique ways of keeping tabs on me. God chose for me a loving Jewish mama whose devout belief in him was surpassed only by her desire to become a real mother to live children, unlike the ones who died in her womb. She didn't care whose children they were, because as soon as they were placed into her arms, they immediately became her own. And she would thank God for the three of us every single day of her life. Keeping their promise to the adoption agency, we three kids were raised to be religious Jews. But with a twist. They moved us to suburbia before it was cool. Up until the 1980s or so, Jews in America typically stayed within their own close-knit communities. The suburban synagogue we attended was founded by a handful of Jewish transplants in the late 1960s. Our parents moved us there in the early 1970s, and we fit right in. Our small congregation, then known as the North Hills Jewish Community Center, held services in local churches. And catering halls. Sunday school took place in a Catholic high school where statues of Jesus and Mary bore silent witness to my Jewish education. Often placed in the corners of the classrooms, these figures evoked many questions in my mind, but the Jewish Sunday school teachers never acknowledged them. Fascinated, I liked looking at them, and the mother and child statues gave me comfort. However, asking about Jesus seemed wrong, just as talking about my biological mother seemed treacherous. What do you guys think so far? Are you enjoying? Shall I read a little bit more? Or do you just want to watch the sunset? Let me know. Let me know if you can hear okay, because it's a little bit windy. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm always looking for feedback from you, my readers. Okay, Sherry says keep on reading. Susan wants more. Then I shall give you more. All right, I know what Donna thinks. Okay, this is titled The Adopted Child's Point of View. I always felt special, but it was a lonely kind of special. There are pros and cons to telling a child that they're adopted. On the one hand, you don't want it to be a sudden shock when they're older, and then it's perceived to be a lie. But it's hard to grow up knowing that there are people out there who are your parents, but you can never know them. I often wondered what kind of people gave me up for adoption. Who were they? Why did they do it? I recall one conversation in particular with the little girl from down the street when I was about 8 years old. She blew my mind. I remember when I was in my mother's stomach, she told me. I can't remember that, I replied. I was adopted. What does adopted mean? It means that I never grew in my mother's stomach. I came from somewhere else, I answered with confidence. Like where else would you come from? She questioned, narrowing her eyes at me. From another woman, I told her, with far less confidence. Who? I don't know, I admitted, my confidence out the window. Are you telling me that you don't know who your mother is? The shocked look on her face scared the hell out of me. I know who my mother is, I told her, trying to at least look confident. Sounds to me like you don't, she said before walking away from me like I was some kind of motherless freak. Now, the following story is a fictionalized account of my life experiences as an adopted child. All names have been changed to protect the innocent and everyone else. And that's the very beginning of my book, Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? Now, as we see the sun go down, I'm going to read a poem, and I did not write this poem, but I was made aware of it a long time ago. I believe it came originally from a Dear Abby post. And for those of you who have been alive a long time, even longer than my 60 years, you definitely remember Dear Abby and the effect that she had on all of us with the letters she used to receive. Well, this letter really affected me a lot, and the author is unknown. It's called Legacy of an Adopted Child. Once there were two women who never knew each other. One you do not remember, the other you call mother. Two different lives shaped to make yours. One became your guiding star, the other became your sun. The first gave you life, and the second taught you to live in it. The first gave you a need for love, and the second was there to give it. One gave you a nationality, the other gave you a name. One gave you the seed of talents, the other gave you an aim. One gave you emotions, the other calmed your fears. One saw your first sweet smile, the other dried your tears. One gave you up, that's all she could do. The other prayed for a child, and God led her straight to you. Now you ask through all your tears the age-old question through the years. Heredity or environment, which are you a product of? Neither, my darling, neither. Just two different kinds of love. That's beautiful, that mother and that daughter standing there, kind of perfect, huh? All right, now I need a little feedback from you guys. So tell me, what do you think about me reading the book in front of the ocean? Hey, princess. So was it everything you hoped it would be with the sound of the waves and the sun going down And the people in the water, especially this mom and daughter, they are adorable. Hi, Melody. I love her dress too. So beautiful on the beach report. Don't let the sun go down on me. Don't let the sun. Oh, I search myself. There's always somewhere else I see. Thank you, Sherry. All right, I'm going to read a little bit more because the sun is not gone down yet. So I'm going to continue. If that's okay with you. Thanks, Wayne. Okay. This is the first chapter of Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? And it's called Where Do Babies Come From? It was the winter of 1969 when the lady at the Jewish Family and Children's Adoption Agency led 3-year-old Leah and 2-year-old Jimmy into a room that was littered with an overwhelming array of toys. There was everything from wooden blocks and board books to the Stick Shack Troll House and Hugo, Man of 1,000 Faces. The lady closed the door as she left, and Leah picked Leah picked a plastic horse up off the floor, examined it, and thoughtlessly tossed it aside. Then Jimmy picked up the Mrs. Beasley doll and threw it against the wall. This made Leah burst out laughing, so Jimmy picked up a naked troll doll with purple and green hair and threw it against the wall. Leah did the same with the Fisher-Price Little People dog. Pretty soon, plastic horses, Lincoln log pieces, matchbox cars, furniture pieces from the magnetic dollhouse, the Fisher-Price chatter phone, and little plastic farm animals were whizzing through the air, crashing loudly against the wall. There was no recourse for their actions. They were just little kids, and they didn't understand why they were left in the toy room alone. In fact, this was the first time they had ever been left alone in a strange room. The 2 toddlers had a great time until their parents eventually returned to collect them. Right away, the kids were drawn to the noticeable pink bundle in Mommy's arms. Reaching out to touch her new baby sister's chubby cheeks, little Leah suddenly realized that this was how the Stern family got their babies. They just picked them up from an office and took them home. She imagined that the babies must have come out of the agency's file cabinets or something. The much-loved story of Leah's adoption went like this. Desperate for a baby to love, her barren parents went to the Jewish Adoption Agency and passed all sorts of psychological tests with flying colors before getting the okay to give an orphaned baby a home. There was a lady who grew you in her belly for 9 months, and after you were born, the lady gave you to the adoption agency, and the adoption agency gave you to us, Leah was told. Leah especially loved the part where Mommy would say, one day the agency called and said, Mrs. Stern, we have a baby girl for you. This made the little girl feel like she was a very special gift. Growing up, Leah always knew about the babies that didn't survive in her mommy's womb, and about the women who had given her and her siblings up for adoption as infants. Repeatedly, Leah's parents told their adopted children that they were 3 of the most wanted babies in the world because they were chosen. Not a day went by that the Stern children weren't made aware of how very wanted and loved they were, despite the fact that their original parents had given them away. Each child was made to feel like a precious treasure and eventually grew to perceive that they too were given something they could never have had otherwise. As Leah grew older, she began to think about those biological people. The mother, the father, the grandparents, and the possibility of sisters, brothers, and cousins who all had blood connections to her. Curiosity was her constant companion as she looked at other families and compared their physical features. Leah and her siblings looked nothing alike. Thank you, Neryl. Ever mindful of the loyalty she felt towards the parents she knew and loved, Leah nevertheless began romanticizing her unknown kin. She identified with the orphans and adoptees of literature and film. Oliver Twist, Little Orphan Annie, and Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Not to mention the most famous adoptee of all, Moses. He is proof that adoption is upward mobility at its finest. Originally a happy baby, Leah grew up shy and withdrawn. While all the other kids were out playing, she was usually hidden away in a corner with a book. She didn't care about playing with other children because books were her first best friends. Leah's own history lay within the pages of novels as she vicariously read her way through other people's lives. She was Anne Frank and Helen Keller and Daphne du Maurier's unnamed muse in the novel Rebecca. She lived in the Swiss Alps as Heidi and mourned the death of Corey in Flowers in the Attic as if he were her own brother. In fact, she remembers living in the little house on the prairie as Laura Ingalls Wilder better than she remembers her family's 1976 vacation to the Jersey Shore. Okay, I'm going to take a break here because the sun is, well, it's still kind of high up. If you want me to read a little bit more, I can do that. Just let me know. It's very warm here in the sun. I was just in Arcadia before this and it was 74 degrees. It's working for you, Shell? All right, I'll read a little bit more. When the John Jakes book, The Bastard, came out in 1974, Leah was 8 years old and full of questions. "Mommy, what's a bastard?" she asked when she saw it on her mother's bedside table. "A child born out of wedlock," her mother replied almost offhandedly. But her answer confirmed what Leah already knew. She was a bastard. "Oh no," her mother exclaimed. "You were ours before you were born." She explained that the adoption agency chose Leah to be their daughter even while her anonymous mother was still pregnant. Because the adoption agency had matched up the two sets of parents before her birth, Leah never belonged to that other woman. The woman who gave birth to her really was not much more than the incubator in her life. But every time her birthday rolled around, Leah would think about her birth mother and wonder if she was out there somewhere, thinking about her too. Leah used to call her the lady who borned me. The mother label was banished from her title altogether. Calling her the real mother was taboo, yet she was the only real person in Leah's life that she was not to know or have any contact with whatsoever. Leah was never to think of her as her mother. To do so would have been the supreme act of disloyalty towards her adoptive mother, the woman who changed her diapers and worried over her when she was sick. Mommy was the one who showered Leah with love in every way. Roe versus Wade had been legalized the year before, and Leah heard people debating that age-old question: when does life begin? But the whole topic made her uncomfortable because Leah preferred to believe that she had never actually been born. Without access to an eyewitness who could substantiate her exit from someone's womb, she believed in the stork, the cabbage patch, and the file cabinet, which was apparently where her mother got her babies. With conception constantly in the news and on the radio, Leah became curious about the methods with which a baby was created in the first place. She found it really difficult to comprehend the fact that mothers were fighting for the right to kill their own babies. Because in her limited experience, mothers who couldn't have babies yearned for them desperately. Leah yearned for a baby too, and that's when she began thinking about her own future daughter. Long before she even knew what she was talking about, Leah promised her future children that she would try to choose their father carefully and love them no matter how or when they came into her life. When Leah was 10, her mother lost another baby, stillborn, in the 8th month. Leah took it really hard. The baby already had a name, and she had been so excited to be old enough to help raise her new little sister. Not wanting to upset her mom, Leah mourned for our baby quietly and kept those feelings of deep sadness to herself. She feared that the same thing would someday... Whoops, sorry about my camera. I'm reading so hard I didn't see the gimbal got away from me. Sorry, guys. Okay. She feared that the same thing would someday happen to her. The thought of losing a baby of her own before she even had a chance to meet her was more unbearable than the thought of having lost her own first mother. After that, Leah's status as an adopted child forced her to focus on the future. She looked within herself for clues that would tell her who she was supposed to become and relished the knowledge that without ties to the past, she could create her own identity. She could be anybody, or she could be a nobody. It was completely up to her. And she wanted to be a writer. So I am going to stop there because it isn't easy to read a lot. It does make your voice get a little bit rough. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know if you enjoy how I talk about past things, like all the toys that we used to play with. Did you guys play with those toys too? The songs. There's always music in all of my books. And the next book that I'm writing, of course, I mean, you know Jill, she always breaks into song. Almost for no reason. Anyway, I am gonna hole up for the next several days at least, working on this book when I'm not helping my friends. But yes, I have to work really hard to get this book ready for book signing at the end of August. I also have to order my other book, like it was yesterday, A Journalist's File Since 9/11, because that book is being ordered by the National Parks Association to be in the bookstore for the Flight 93 Memorial. So if you ever go to the Flight 93 Memorial, you can buy my book. How exciting is that? Oh, you're so welcome, Sherry. I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed it. Do let me know in the comments if you had any nostalgic feelings while I was reading, you know, like I was talking about those different toys and the books and the stuff that we used to do and think about in the 70s and the 80s. Okay, because if you like that, you're going to love the rest of this book, because I'm going to take you on a trip into the 80s. I think the best decade ever. All right, let's look at the beautiful sunset we got going on here. It is amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. Whoop. Who signed my hat? Well, one of the best signatures I have is from Governor Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. He signed that hat when President Trump was running for office, the second term, or the second time before his election was stolen. Isn't it beautiful here? Oh my gosh, Sherry, you just told me all I need to know. Makes me want to go to my bookcase and pull out the book and read it again. You couldn't have said anything more wonderful to me. Thank you.
Michael, Gianna, Bronket, Mila.
These beautiful children at the beach. So as we get ready for the sunset, there's something special that happens here on Patriot Point every single day. Oh, my writing boys. Thank you, Shelley. And you know, it's a good point that you make, because whenever you do write a book, when you are a writer, people do hear your voice. Look how deep this water is. That man is up to it, almost to his top of his shorts. And that kid's way in it deep. It's definitely a lot warmer than the water in Virginia Beach. You guys, that water was so cold, I couldn't believe it. Sherry just pulled out her book. I love it. I love it. Let me know what's your favorite chapter that you'd like to hear me read at the beach, because there are a lot of scenes in this book that are at the Jersey Shore. That is super fun. And I'll read you the back of the book too. Here, I'll show you the pictures in it. That's a picture of me on the first day that I met my parents and went home with them. I was 2 weeks old. Yes, to the Gulf of America, especially. So wonderful. Okay, here's what the back of my book says. Wait, you have to look at the sunset while I read it. Adoption changes lives. Let me take you on the tumultuous journey of my alter ego, Leah. An adopted child, Leah sees life through the lens of the profound loss of a mother she never knew. Raised in a loving, devout Jewish family, Leah cherishes her life until a shocking revelation shatters her sheltered world. Navigating the often devastating path of love and self-discovery, Leah finds out that everything she once believed is not as it seems. So that's the back. Let me know what you guys think. But boy, oh boy, do we have a beautiful sunset tonight. Holy guacamole. We're probably about 5 or 6 minutes away from a little dip in the ocean that the sun takes every night. And this sunset looks like it's gonna start a little bit early and go behind some clouds before it gets to the Gulf of America. Hi, Darla. Oh, you just missed story time. Darla's read the book at least 3 times, right, Darla? I love that about her. When we come to Patriot Point, we honor our armed forces. I'm back in the west coast of Florida at one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, Siesta Key, Barrier Island. All right, good night, Reggie. I'm glad I could read you a bedtime story. And so give me your feedback, you guys. Let me know if you enjoy the reading in front of the Gulf of America with the sound of the waves and the ocean breeze. think I should keep doing this? Let me know. Does it entice you into wanting to buy a book? Let me know that too. I have to be working on my website and selling books. I'm good at writing them, selling them, not so much. I know, Sherry. I love you guys. I know I'm reading to the choir, and everybody watching right now already has this book and loves it. So, except for Neryl. Neryl might need a copy of the book. And thank you so much for being kind and not trolling me. I really appreciate it. Whenever you come to the west coast of Florida, you realize that sunset is more than just something that happens every day. It's an event. And you start to see more and more people showing up at the beach and getting ready for the sunset. And especially this beach. A lot of people here in the summertime. Summertime, summertime, summertime. And then I look over here and I'm reminded of last year's hurricane season that really did a number on this area. And you can see some places still have not fully recovered, but we're getting there. Oh, Neryl is your friend, Donna. Well, welcome, Neryl. Super glad to see you here. She helped clean out the old clothes I didn't want. That is a wonderful thing to do for our friend Donna. Because Donna is so awesome and loves clothes so much, but sometimes you love things so much that you can't get rid of them. And it's important to get rid of clutter. It does make your life a lot better. Look at that. I love that with all the flags of our armed forces right in front of the sunset. And more people here. Everyone ready to see the sunset. Seriously, like it's a show, which it is. Oh, Narelle. Oh, thank you, Donna, right? Did I say it right? Narelle. Welcome to the Beach Report, Narelle. I'm really glad you're here. And I'm glad that you helped our dear friend Donna. We all need a little help from our friends. How beautiful is this? Get your screenshots, some birds are coming through. Meow. You know, the sky looks pretty amazing over there too. Look at that. That's what we call the cotton candy skies. Nothing like a west coast of Florida's sunset. Nothing like it in the world. She had, ooh, a thrifter, a thrift store owner. Your favorite kind of people. Look at this. It's beyond beautiful. Oh, that's perfect, Donna. Somebody who loves shopping in thrift stores as much as you do. Sounds like a beautiful friendship. What does den mean? Oh, doing the den. Gotcha. That's good. Naral, she needs all the help she can get on that den. You are an angel. So I want you guys to take a look at these fluffy skies. Those are some weird clouds. They look like that, Donna, they look like that fabric that I like, the fluffy white fabric that has all the ridges in it. Isn't that what the clouds look like? It's crazy. And then look at these clouds. Really weird looking. No, there are no lines in the sky though. It is absolutely beautiful. These are some interesting clouds though. But I don't see chemtrails. Well, maybe one over here. There, that looks like a chemtrail. Yeah, double gauze cotton, that's it, Donna. You know it. Look how beautiful it is over there. And I think there's some storms over there. But I'm not seeing lightning. The whole 360-degree view is just breathtaking. Yeah, they are up there. On a summer's day in July in the Gulf of America. Thank you, Narelle. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated it. Worked very hard on that book. That was 40 years in the making. You're right. Florida needs its rain. It's true. And please, everybody, say a prayer that my car is okay after going through a floody area. Okay, that sun is just about on its way out. Where's the flag, dude? Yeah, I drove my car through a bit of a floody area and then it made scary noises. So please say some prayers that it's dried out since then. There's no lasting damage. Because that noise was super scary. Look how beautiful this is. And Siesta Key, the thing I love so much is all of the sandbars that it gets. I know, Donna, I'm taking it to the dealership anyway. It needs to have a maintenance thing. I'll get it looked at, don't worry. I will, Donna. I know you'll remind me too. I love that about you. Donna always checks on me. She knows her girl can be a little flighty at times. Hi, Alex. Welcome to the sunset here on a Tuesday summer's night in July at Siesta Key Beach. A world-class beach, and the beach report is back in its element. Oh, Wayne, don't worry. It will not be 40 years, okay? You're right. Thank you for the encouragement. That is a great thing to say to me, Wayne. And will not make you wait 40 years. In fact, the next book called 7 Years in Switzerland is going to be ready in the next several months. So I'm not waiting any longer because it's an extension of Do You Think About Me on My Birthday. So if I could do this now, I can do that as well. I had to really winnow this book down, and it's 365 pages, so you can imagine how much I had to cut. What Shih Tzu? Anthony, good to see you, my friend. Welcome back, Joy. Yeah, you'll have to watch the replay. Please do. Give me some feedback. Anthony, you missed it too. I read my book to everybody. Oh, we're saying prayers for the Shih Tzu. I will always say prayers for a Shih Tzu. I do love the Shih Tzus. Anthony's writing a book, you guys. And it's going to be amazing. So, somebody's playing taps. Oh, look, watch. They're bringing the flag down now that the sun has gone down. Every single day they take this flag down, and every single morning they put it back up, and they do it with ceremony. What do you mean, Joy? Every single day. This area is called Patriot Point for this reason. They honor the flag. They take it down the way it should be taken down every single night. They do not leave it up there. This is how you're supposed to honor the flag. This is Siesta Key, Baron. Siesta Key, my friend. Semper Fi, yes. God bless America. You're right. Thank you. So beautiful. You want me to sing the Star Spangled Banner? That's a hard song to sing. But sometimes they play music here. I don't know if they're going to tonight. If they don't, I'll sing. I know, Joy. The truth will come out soon. So now they put this flag up.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Donna. If tomorrow all the things were gone I've worked for all my life, if I had to start again with just my children in my life, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to, bye, thank you, right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA. Well, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. I love it when you guys sing with me. Thank you. Thank you so much. And what a beautiful sunset we have tonight. Oh my gosh. Holy guacamole. Is that gorgeous or what? I love it, Violet. I'm glad you were here for this show. I wore this hat for a reason. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining me on tonight's beach report, tonight's patriotic beach report and reading. If you're just coming on now and you missed the story time, please watch the replay and share it with people who you think would enjoy my new book, Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? Wow, wait, you guys got to see it's starting to storm over there. I see some lightning. Not like last night's lightning show, though. Yeah, I think I missed it. Thank you, Joy. I do love the red lipstick. Yeah. One more look at this gorgeous sunset. It is Mary Kay. My Mary Kay lady is Mercy Lorenzo. Well, thank them for their service from me at the Beach Report, Violet. Yes, Mary Kay. I still wear the Mary Kay lipstick, and I love it. Yeah, I know, Laura. I drove through those storms in order to get over here, so it is very, very scary. I made it alive through the storms, so I hope you guys do well. All right, you guys, I'm going to say ciao for now, and we will see you on the next beach report. I don't remember what color it is, but I'll look it up because I need more. Yeah, I think you said that. She's our princess. This was Ron DeSantis who signed my hat. Oh, how old are you, Violet? I don't think you should serve in the Army. It's kind of dangerous, although if you're female, it's not that dangerous. But it is good to serve your country. And then you're in a very exclusive club of 1% of all Americans. So there's that. But it is dangerous. All right, you guys, one more look at this amazing sunset as it's about to end. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is just so gorgeous. All right, ciao for now and arrivederci.